your permission, if I could, before I start, to share a story of just an amazing inspiration of a man from China. Can I do that for you? Because one of the things when I sit here, I'm so honored to be out here. It's my first time in Australia. Certainly not my last. This is my reconnaissance mission. But I really brought up a story that just was so powerful, and I want you to just spend a couple minutes with me and understand what we're talking about. The power of email is not just about pushing sales and numbers, which we're going to go into, but it's about moving people, moving their hearts and their minds, and doing things that, quite frankly, will blow you away, like it was back in the year 2000. I want you to imagine yourself and go back in the time tunnel, even to a year prior to 2000, 1999. Imagine you're up north of Beijing in one of the little provinces, and your job is you're an engineer. And that engineer's name is Sunjun. Every day, he'd wake up and go to work. And work was a 9 to 5, fill out a few engineering schematics, check his name off, and go back home. But unlike most people in China at that time, he didn't go home just to do whatever they do in their off hours. He went on the internet, and he subscribed to my email list because I had developed a book on affiliate programs and became one of the leading experts in that market. And he signed up for my email list, and every day, from 1999 to 2000, he started getting those emails. I'm going to show you how on first contact, I automated the first 5 to 7 messages, so in the first 2 weeks, they got to know me. Because he got to know you, learn to love you, as Alex put out, and then trust you. And let me tell you something. You want to know the big word in the next 10 years of marketing, online or offline? Trust. So here's this guy. I don't even know him. Piles of paper are picking up every email I send. And can I tell you something? I send a lot of emails. Because I want my list to know I care. I really want to send it out. And I'm marketing, but I'm also sharing. I want to inspire them. That's what I love to do. And the pile starts picking up. And in 2000, I sent out an email and said, I'm going to be the keynote speaker at the leading affiliate event. In fact, the event where I coined the word super affiliate. And I said, 5 of my subscribers will get in for free. It's in Miami, Florida. And if you tell me how using my product really helped you, I'm going to take the 5 best examples, share them with my readers, and give each one of those 5 people a $1,000 ticket. Okay? The response rate went through the roof, including a gentleman from China up in the northern province in a little town, an engineer, who picked up the phone and called me. And I can tell you it's so clear. I remember it so clearly because I was running a major agency called AdNet International, one of the top 100 direct marketing agencies in the US. So I have a couple of employees who are working with me. And my employee, Robert, picked up the phone. And all of a sudden he hears this voice going, Declan! Declan! He's like, okay. Prozac, no. This guy is so excited, but he can't speak any English. It's like, he's just doing the Chinese, and Robert's like, I got Declan Dunn. What do you want? And his daughter comes on and says, my dad has been so inspired by you. He wants to come to the States. He wants to become part of your company. And it was interesting. Here I am, I don't understand that culture, obviously, but there's a point of mentoring and going in and working for a company and growing. And this guy's in his mid-40s, okay? This is not some young guy deciding on the spur of the moment, hey man, .com. What's the Chinese word for dude? No, this is a normal guy, a real engineer. And it's mind-blowing. He is so excited. I would wish every one of you could feel the excitement this man felt. Because as crazy as it was to hear, Declan Dunn! It was like, that's what scared me, okay? And it's funny, think about when you're emailing people, the reactions you get. Why was I scared? From passion. Well, possibly because of the way he said my name, but we called him up and we said, this is what the event is, but it's certainly not to be an employee of my business, and we don't have, I'm assuming this is a Chinese system of working where you mentor and work your way up through a company. He was willing to come out to California and study under me, be a sensei, lack of a better word. And I was like, wow, but I got an agency, and you don't speak English. That's going to be a little tough on me, Not a lot of, actually I could go to San Francisco and probably find somebody who spoke Mandarin. But the funny thing was, we called him, we said, listen, Sunjun, thank you, but really, man, don't come to the U.S. unless you want to come on your own and visit the conference. But hello, did you all travel a long way here? Let me share with you what Sunjun did. Sunjun put down the phone, and he wanted to get out of China so badly. I don't know why, but I'm just telling you, that he picked up and he took a stack of papers this thick, okay? All my emails that I'd sent for a year, autoresponders, free reports, everything, with my name and his name on it. I would put his name on it because I personalize email, something anyone here can do, okay? It's great, isn't it nice to be known by name? Let me tell you, Sunjun picked up those papers, and then he got the seminar document from Miami, and he called up Herbie, who's actually a South African running the show in Miami, and he says, I want to go to the show, will you sign the document? Herbie faxed him a signed document. Little did I know, this was his key out of China. So check this out, I really want you to imagine the guts of this man. He took a stack of my emails, because he was so inspired, he wanted to work with me, and he got on the train. And you know how long the train took him to get to, I believe it was Beijing? 12 hours. Y'all think you traveled far? And I'm sure it was a really comfortable train, filled with lots of good food and joy. And he got on that train, and then he got to Beijing, and he bought a one-way ticket because he had a signed document. To this day, I have no idea how he got out of China with a one-page document from a guy doing a seminar in Miami, Florida. Crazy, right? That's, well, post 9/11, that's never going to happen, but for some reason, that happened. And Sunjun got on that plane, and he flew across the ocean, and he's coming there. He doesn't speak a word of English. He has a translator with him. Think of the courage of this man. Does anyone in this room, I don't have that courage. Have you ever heard of Miami, Florida? Beautiful, dangerous city. Lots of Cuban refugees in the prisons, okay? A place that I get nervous because you go into the hotel and the guy's got guns. Okay? I'm not joking you. Miami is not like, oh, what a warm, embracing city. It's a cool city, but you want to know people, okay? And you sure as heck want to speak a little English or at least Spanish. Sunjun gets there. He lands. And he goes up and he takes those pile of papers and he comes in, and the man who's running the event, Herbie, welcomes him. He's like, this is amazing. You've come all the way across the world to meet Declan. You've come to work with them. And Herbie's calling me saying, this is a momentous event. We need press. We need public relations. This is amazing. This man read your stuff, left his life, and has come here. In fact, it was really funny because he didn't speak a word of English. He only knew our names. And my assistant's name was Rob Sayre. And he kept going, Rob Sayre, Rob Sayre. And Herbie's like, I think he likes lobster. True story. So I'm sitting there the day after the event, and I've done my speaking, and I'm working with people, and in comes this man that Herbie's telling me about. And I go, this man from China, I didn't know anything was going on. And the most amazing thing, he looks at me, he goes, yeah, he's from China. We're going to do public relations. I said, what's his name? He goes, Sunjun. And I looked at Herbie, I went, Declan Dunn! I said, Herbie, this is not good. This man is like trying to live with me. I've just been stalked over tens of thousands of miles. This is not something you want in the newspapers. I'm terrified. Here's this guy with piles of paper with my name on it. You imagine if he goes to jail? Well, sir, what do you want? Declan Dunn! Internet guru jailed. So Herbie and I were having this like, wow, this is getting bad. This is not comfortable. And you know what's funny? I want you to think about, though, I was judging him because of my own nervousness. And I'll tell you, I was totally wrong. Because what happened was this brave man sat in the back. I remember he sat in the back of the room. And they were giving away, like, swim with the dolphins for, like, 50 people. So you get a drawing. And I don't know if you guys know, but they go swim with the dolphins in Miami. It's a really cool thing. And Herbie's saying, don't let Sunjun win. Well, who do you think won? The winner of the swimming with the dolphins is Sunjun. He doesn't even know what's going on. He's calculating. Oh my goodness, he's sitting there plugging in words to the editor to be able to know he understands the language. And what's so amazing is Herbie is a great guy and managed to know a family who spoke Mandarin in Miami and brought them together and understood. And he goes, Declan, this man wants to work with you. He wants to study under you under an honor system that's based in his culture. Guys, I'm pretty touched. I mean, I'm doing very well. I'm one of the leading experts. But I can tell you something. I've never seen anything like that, even though it doesn't always excite me. I started getting out. What is my judgment? Because I sent out a message of passion, of inspiration, of marketing to change people's lives. That's what I believe in. I really want to leave a difference. No holier than thou, it just matters to me. And here's this guy honoring it, and I'm afraid of him just because he screams my name out? Because he's excited? Well, we sit down with him, and we say, Sunjun, through an interpreter, I'd love it, man, but I can't have you come up to Northern California. I got a business to run, and this is not a good thing for us to work together. It's not the way my culture works. And he had a one-way ticket, okay? He had no return ticket. So I bought him a ticket back. I said, listen, you're not going to get stuck here. I mean, believe me, Miami is not the place you want to be walking around with a lot of my autoresponders. I'm not that well known. An autoresponder is when you send an instant message back to an email, by the way. Keep that term in your head because it automates things. So we sent him there. He got the plane ticket, and here this guy goes. Herbie got him all the way up to the airport. He walked down to the airport, got on that plane. Whoops! He turned around, and he went back to Miami, where, if I'm not mistaken, he still lives, marketing on the internet, struggling, but living in our country, which is where he wanted to go. And I'll tell you something, he emails me, goes, you know what, I'm still trying, because he didn't want to live in China anymore. What do you think of that? Let's give a round of applause for that spirit. That story inspired me so much because, you get jaded, you get successful, people look at you and think you're an overnight success after flopping on your face for 4 years. Oh, it was easy for you. Yeah. I mean, guys, what I'm about to teach you about email, I arguably was the worst headline ad copywriter in the history of the internet. My first headline on the internet is, the promise lies not in our technology, but in ourselves. Oh, right. I thought they'd think I'm cool, Hey, that's smart. It's like a little Shakespeare, a little technology. Come on, love me. I wasn't talking to them. I was talking at them instead of, speak it with me, with them. With them. I want you to remember this. It's going to come up again and again in email. So many people go, let me pitch this at you. Do you know how many commercial messages a U.S. person sees in a year? 1 million. And having watched your TV and media, I don't think you guys are too far behind. This is the way media goes. Let's bash them with messages. Let's stick out there, and let's see how we can penetrate them. But I want you to remember the story of Sunjun as we go through this, because it's about that person who steps out. It's about your customer not only knowing you, but really delivering what you have and changing the way that they look at things so that they trust you. And that's what we're about to teach you in email. As I teach you the techniques, you know what the real part is? What's the most important part of email? The message. Repeat it with me. Hit your shoulder. The message. I'm not going to let you guys get away because I already see the blood sugar coming down. And let me tell you, you can ask anyone in this room, I'm going to do some freaky stuff if you fall asleep. I'm going to do some freaky stuff if you stay awake, so that's okay. All right. What I want to take you through now is email marketing. If you could please open to page 5 in your workbooks in my section. What you're being taken through is a process that I've delivered since 1994, and we're going to focus specifically on direct email that powers results right now, unstoppable email. And what I'm going to do, page 5 of my section, what I'm going to do is work with you in an interactive workshop. Should be 5. Do we have 5? It says 5 on my number. Is that right? Yeah. In my section? It says key definitions, HTML, email. Okay. If you got a friend who's not finding it, could you help them out, please? Good enough. It is page 5. In some books, I've done this before, where is it the first page 5 or the second page 5? We all there? We okay? Gotcha. No, I'm good. I'm good. What I want to talk to you about now is email. How can we use email? Did you see when Alex is presenting, when Armin's presenting, how much did the word email come up? How much? Pretty much. What do you do when you fill in an Ask database form? What do you get? Repeat. Email. What do you do when you fill out a form for a teleseminar? What do you get? Email. Are you getting a clue that the biggest thing on internet is? Email. And it's that bad stepsister, just like I told you this morning. Ooh, don't email. Shh, he's a spammer. You'll have people tell you that. Well, you know what they'll say? Well, I get lots of spam in my box. Oh, good, then that makes me a spammer? But I'm going to show you how not to be that, because what a spammer is somebody who doesn't remember they heard from you. I'm not talking about the illegalities. We all know what that is, okay? But when you get called a spammer, because you're good people here, you're going to do real good business, it's because they forgot you. How can we do that and have them remember us? Very, very easy. So this is what we're going to do, direct email, okay? Email's death is greatly exaggerated. Let me show you right here. These are the revenues per email delivered. This is retail and catalogs from eMarketer. You saw it sort of spike up to 30 cents, but look at this, 26 cents. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but there's a lot of email going out. This is continually profitable. What's happening is email is one of the most profitable channels on the internet. This is done in millions, by the way, okay? And as you see, is it really dipping down in the last few years? What do you think? No. Do you think when you came in here that its results are diving downwards? Come on. Yes, say it. Yes. Yes, I thought email sucked. I loved it when I told Simon this. I said, you know, it's really funny. You go out and a lot of people actually let the media guide their business. That's crazy. Look for common sense and watch what everyone here is saying. Email rules when you do it right. Let's show you how to do that. Email is an essential tool. You actually have these facts in front of you on page 5 that I'm about to show you. Here's the revenue, cost, and response rates for direct response media. 2003, this is from the Direct Marketing Association in the United States. You want to know how good email is? Email is number 1 according to what they call the ROI index, return on investment, how much money people make. Number 1. Number 2 is direct response TV, and that's only 8.4 compared to 14.2. Email is huge, okay? Email is immense. You can't afford to avoid this subject. Look what's happening there. Inserts, you can actually see it on your paper in front of you too. Inserts, direct mail, they're all good. In fact, a lot of this is the way we communicate with our customers, but email by far is there because the revenue per contact's $1.28 and the promo cost per contact is 9 cents. You're starting to learn something here? Nothing I'm sharing with you is what I think. Everything here comes from facts and from testing. Don't believe what you think, believe what your tests tell you. Okay? That means you have an A, test against B. What do you think of these numbers? Are you sort of turning around here? Seeing a little bit? You got a question? If you do, could we get a microphone over there? What I'm talking to you about email, and I want to set the stage for you, is that you can't avoid using this tool. You need to use it wisely. But your message is the most important thing. Yeah?
I was just wondering what dimensional mail is.
I have no idea. I've wondered, you know, I was thinking one day I woke up and said, wow, if I could market in the 4th dimension, that would be cool. Honestly, I've asked that question too. If anybody, I don't know what dimensional mail is. Do you know what dimensional mail is? Lumpy marketing. I think you're right. That's a friend of ours does lumpy marketing. Dimensional mail, we can go into details separately off there. That's a little off track. Let's focus on email. It's unusual direct mail. Let's put it that way. Okay? Today, outline for unstoppable email. We're going to go through the basics. I want you guys to come out of this interactive workshop, which means you're going to be working, and I want you to think about what you can do for your business. And if you don't have a business, start thinking what you would do the minute a customer contacted you. We're going to show you the numbers. And what's great about email is the numbers are real clear. And let me tell you, on the internet, it's feast or it's famine. Okay? The best part is you want to learn to test quickly. And let me tell you, before we begin, a lot of people spend their time in business trying not to lose instead of trying to win. That's called sabotage. Repeat it with me. Touch your shoulder. Sabotage. You can't do that. You have to play to win. Playing to lose means you limit your growth. I don't want you to go spend the farm, but here's a great saying. Failure leads to success. And if you think you're going to come out and be successful on day one, maybe you will. But most of us know, often you won't. And as the head of Intel said on using the internet, he says, you know what you learn? Plan to fail quickly. Embrace this. When I hired employees, guys, I ran a multi-million-dollar agency with people in Northern California who'd never internet marketed, didn't know what marketing was, had no clue, and in 2 months they're running campaigns with what I'm about to show you. You know why? It's not rocket science. It's direct marketing, a 100-year tradition applied right now. I'm going to give you some very quick, important email definitions. Everybody raise your hands. And say with me, I do not have to memorize this stuff. Come on. I do not have to memorize this stuff. It's not about memorizing. Michael said a brilliant thing. The way you've been trained, you think you're going to suck all this in and be a genius? Wrong. You have to go to marketing genius therapy with Alex. Wow, did we all paint some pictures there? Can-Spam Act. I don't know what your alternative is down here, but I've heard you pretty much have the same thing, which means there's rules to emailing, okay? And the rules are similar. Number one, if you send an email, you got to let them on the bottom, and I'll show you an example in just a few minutes. Let them opt out if they don't want to hear from you. Hello, does that make sense? Nothing wrong with that. And if they opt out, you know what? Don't send to them again. Don't be like my friends who are spammers and go, you know, when they opt out, man, that's when I market to them real hard. And that angers them. And it's part of the environment you're working in, okay? If you know that, you know, and the really great thing is a lot of people, when they sign up for an email now, they'll sign up instead of saying, oh, thank you, here's your free report, they show them how to opt in on the various places so they don't get blocked as spam. Smart move. HTML email. You all seen it? It looks like a web page. HTML email is basically email with pictures, okay? It looks like a web page. You'll see an example in a second. Opt-in email means somebody wants to hear from you. They said, yes, you can send me email. This is the key to your success. Opt-in email is where it happens, okay? They give you permission. Privacy policy, don't sell their names like you're on the streets of Sydney going, hey, you like some email names? Come here. I got 40 million email names for you, my friend. I know I would get shot in Sydney with this accent. New Yorkers in Sydney, not a good mix. Hey, what are you, from Australia? Get out of here. Okay. Text emails, simple text emails. In fact, let's jump in. What I want you to understand, these are just the basic tools that you all have, okay? That's an HTML email. What does it have? Pictures. Say it with me. Pictures. Those pictures help us tell if somebody opened an email. When you send a direct mail to somebody, do you know if they open the envelope? Right? What about if they look at your ad in a magazine? Do you know if they looked at it? No way. When you do an HTML email, HTML, it's even hard to say. When you do one of those, the picture tells you they opened it. And you use tools like One Shopping Cart. It's really simple. They just tell us this stuff, okay? You don't need to be a genius to figure this out. You put a picture in, you can tell if they opened the email. That's pretty cool, isn't it? That lets us know if they looked at it. Doesn't mean they did anything, but it's nice to know, they looked at it, and I'll show you that. Remind me in just a few minutes, because I want to make sure you understand that. See how it looks? Very, very simple. Okay? Now, here's your next test. It could look like this. This doesn't quite look like the other one, does it? A little bit different. But if there's pictures in it, it's an HTML email. This is pretty cool. This is actually done by a great company. Look at the way they do it. Subject line, Dunn, free computer lessons. Look at the top. You signed up to receive special offers. This is who I am. These are emailers who send a lot of email in a positive way. By the way, everybody who sends hundreds of millions of emails are not spammers. There's some very good direct marketers who do this with integrity and do it with honor. Do you want free computer? You see that Dunn? That's my name. Ask me again. Tell you the same. I don't like the last name, but I think they had the first name would be better, but still. Does that make them know that at least they heard from me? Does it make me less suspicious? Hi, One Shopping Cart lets you do this automatically, okay? All these programs do. Click now for offer details. You see how simple that is? You guys starting to see something here? Everything's simple, and people go, can't be that simple. You guys are hiding something, right? It's got to be hard. It's not. What's hard is writing the right message and getting your audience interested. And that's the game of marketing, okay? Here's a text email. That's the same email those guys sent, except what happened to the pictures? They're gone. You just learned all you need to know about email. There's text and HTML. What do you think? You ready to go? Okay, thank you. Good night. Give us a hand. You guys are funny. You thought I was going to walk off. What's funny is they end up putting the links there, and it looks, actually, this is what a lot of people are doing now because a lot of graphic email can get blocked, okay? Don't try to get technical here. Open your minds. Minds are like parachutes. They work best when open. Jokes are really good when they're laughed at. And they're not jokes when you don't laugh. That's the question. Is it comedy if you don't laugh? I don't think so. Let's go to the next one. Newsletter. I just want to show you something. These are the different ways. But you know something? Are you starting to see some of the last two examples from me? What's the difference between the first HTML email I showed you and the ensuing two examples? What's the difference? One's giving you information as a form of selling, right. Words. In a high-tech field that you're all finding it's about computers, and you see those commercials like, you know, the techie kid going, oh, I'm going to create virtual reality. Well, you know what? People really like this reality. It's really good. It's solid. This is what works. A good text message, a good headline, and good ad copy, guys. What's funny is it's not about that cutting-edge thing. It's much more about a traditional form of marketing that says what they want. Because you remember that first picture? How many of you remember what was in that first picture? This is one of Armin's tests. What was in the phone was in the picture? What else? $100, a lady. We always notice the ladies, don't we, guys? It's very ironic. Put a big woman in a picture, and for some reason, people click. Don't ask me why. We've tested it. Maybe it's a U.S. thing. We like to actually hear that if we're calling in, we like to see a more friendly voice. In the U.S., that's perceived as women. That's what you call. So what happened was you don't really remember much of the message, though, do you? In words, they don't paint the pictures. They paint the pictures in their own heads. Okay? This is the key to copy. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? People will only buy your product or service if they can see themselves using it. Doesn't that make sense? Have you ever bought anything that you couldn't see yourself? Do you understand what I'm talking about? There's the left brain. You know what the left brain says? I've seen it before. I'm tired. Go away. I've got a lot to do. Serious. Have you guys ever done anything in brain research? You want to have a little fun? Because I already sense the blood sugar's going down. I'm warning you. It's not going to be pretty. What I want you to do is take your index finger. I'm having fun with you. Play with me, guys, because what I'm trying to do is get you into the creative mindset. You've got to stop trying to learn everything and let the one or two facts come through. Raise this finger. And I want to have some fun with you here. This is an experiment because I want you to understand this is critical to what we're about to show you. Take it and put it right here in your head, okay? This is called the Broca's area of your brain. This makes all the decisions of your life, and it is programmed. It's called the CEO of your brain. Now I want to play a little bit with you and show you the power. Imagine yourself right now, and tonight at the networking party, you're going to be able to talk to some of the best marketers. You're going to talk to Perry Marshall about AdWords maybe. Maybe you're going to talk to Ken Giddens or Armand Morin. Maybe you're going to talk to Michael, Alex, or Paul Colligan. Okay, what would it be like? Can you see yourself there having a glass of wine or a beer? Can you see yourself? Are you seeing yourself? Pull that thing off. Were you picturing in your mind? Could you guys see yourself or no? Come on, raise your hands if you could see yourselves. Because if you couldn't, what are you doing here? I'm telling you to come and talk with all of us because we're going to be there. What I just did that for is you can only do what you see in your mind. People only buy what they see. So if they want to use your product or service, the first thing you want to do is get them to think about using it. Because if they're over here and they don't picture themselves using it, why don't they buy? Because they can't see it. Repeat it with me. Touch your shoulder. Because they can't see it. Go. They can't see it. That's the trick. And I'll tell you something. You know why they don't buy on first contact most of the time? What do you think? They can't see it. And we're going to show you a process tomorrow how you can use that to your advantage. That's direct marketing. People buy in fourth or fifth contact, okay? All right. The most important rules. Remember, Send frequently. I'm going to show you at the end, remind me, at the end I'm going to show you how to email people in the first 2 weeks so you set the stage for working with them automatically for something like less than $20 a month, okay? How many of you could write 5 paragraphs? Raise your hand. You can automate this, okay? Send frequently. People forget you within 3 days of first contact. Your brain is like a computer. Short-term memory dumps. It's electrical. Look it up. I'm not making this up. It dumps in 2 to 3 days, like shutting down your computer. And man, if you say, I got your email and email them 30 days later, you're going to get called a spammer because they don't remember you. Use that keyword, remember, okay? Test for text or HTML email. Which works best? There's only 2 types. Send it with pictures, send it without. As Allie would say, I would imagine in the newsletter business, sending with pictures works very well because those people already trust you. I do a lot of text email right now because when we do direct marketing, you want to make sure your message gets received. Test it. Are you going to remind yourselves every day it's just a test? It's not you. Speak above the line to yourself. What that means is always look for the system. Don't ever look at yourself at fault. You're never at fault. The biggest things I get with people on the internet is the biggest problem is we are our own worst enemies. Always look for a system. It's never personal. Always test, okay? Make it relevant or interesting or you lose them. Let me tell you, you've seen I'm doing these little things like getting you a picture and you're sitting there going, why is this guy having me hold an index finger? Is this like something he likes to do? What I'm trying to do is get you to understand that when you write to people, they need to see themselves using what your product or service is. If they don't, they're not going to take action. And what happens if they don't take action? Nothing. Hey guys, you're surfing the internet, you go to a website, what happens if you just sit there? Repeat it with me. Nothing. Louder. Nothing. That's why it's called interactivity. They control everything. Isn't that different than any other TV, radio, print? They control the whole show. Welcome to the 21st century. That's a good thing. That's going to make it easier for every one of you to market. Because what you're doing, what did Alex tell you to do? Ask. Right? No one's telling you to sit here and be a genius. What did Michael say? Where's the really great computer? That's what we're activating. That's what you're here for. Okay? And last thing is, what you don't want to do. Don't spam. Okay? If somebody gets off your list, let them go. If you're smart, I've done this with customers. When they get off my list, I'll actually call them up sometimes in a cross-section and say, hey, can I discover why, I'd just like to ask you a favor. Why did you leave my list? Is there something I could have done better? I'd love your feedback. You're gone. You'll never hear from me again. You know what 90% of the people do? They come back on my list. And I don't do it to get them back on my list. I do it to learn because those who return and opt out have more to teach you than those who buy. Really true. And it's really powerful. Are you starting to sense we're talking about relationships here? Isn't this weird? You thought this was going to be like email 101 and you're going to have to get your techie hat on with a propeller. You don't need a propeller, and I don't care. Maybe you have a propeller. That's good. Just like Armin said, you can wear anything you want at home. The most important thing is to look at email as the greatest tool you have and understand. Send tons of email at once. Don't do it. And when I mean tons, some of you are going to see your list come to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 very easily. Believe it or not. Those are not big numbers. You want to make sure that you're looking at your list and you're managing it. Okay? Don't forget that spam filters may block many of the best words in marketing. They don't like us saying the words new, you, how, free, special offer, special coupon. They'll actually block it just by those words. So you know what we do? We turn those words into graphics. We make the word free a graphic. That's the rocket science part of the presentation. That's as hard as it gets. Okay? What I want you to remember now is, as we go into this, keep looking at this as what are the 1 to 3 ideas out of what I'm about to present you that you can put into action for your business right now. Okay? If you don't have a business, could you buy per-click words? Perry will teach you how to get per-click words. Could you buy those and turn them into a small email list where you could test this for a very low cost? Yes? Yes. Come on. Yes. Look at you guys. We're really excited. Come on. You got to keep your juices up. Because I'll tell you, when you go into business, the best thing I can give you, you see me pumped up here? I do this in my business because I want to be creative. Because you know why my messages really hit people? Have you heard people talking on stage? Is anyone sitting there with a big chip on their shoulder? Have fun. Let it go. Don't worry. The key is not to worry about the outcome. It's to really have fun during the ride. Because you'll make it if you stick with it and keep your investments low at the beginning and use email to test. You will be able to discover so much of your own capabilities and your ability to sell. We were talking last night in meetings, and a lot of people hadn't used email. They got an email and they didn't know what to do with it. Well, you didn't think about the strategy. You know what that means is, how am I going to message them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. You know, you should send them an email and say, get a free massage. Look at this. Wow. How many of you would sign up for a free massage? You know what's funny? We're actually at Mark Victor Hansen's show, and Bob Sarkosta of Home Shopping Network put it so brilliantly. He says, you know what? Business is not about selling, it's about helping people. And when you're in the selling mentality, people will notice it. They will stick out like a sore thumb. And when I show you some examples, you'll see what I mean. Let's go how to power your email dramatically. If you are an offline business, how many of you guys are offline, don't have anything happening online? Raise your hands high. How many people come into your store every day? Could you get their email and send them something? There's a restaurant in Boulder, Colorado that all they do is collect emails of customers and then send them monthly updates, and they succeed tremendously. And guess what? No website, nothing but a very powerful email list. Email is a great, very low-cost communicator, okay? Be sure to encourage referrals, okay? Encourage referrals. You got to understand the power. I got to get your juices flowing a little bit, nothing personal, but the lunch is setting in. So what I'm going to do is you guys are going to encourage referrals. I want to show you this, and there's method to my madness. What I'd like you to do, excuse me, your name, please? Sorry to jump in. Ian, if I could have you, don't worry. What I want you to do is, there's no talking here. I want you to take it, stand up. Okay, guys, watch this. This is only going to be one instruction. Ian stands up. Ian passes it. Pass it over. Ian sits down. Your name? Adam stands up. Come on. Adam stands up. What does he do? Passes it over, sits down. Let's go. Let's see how fast he can do this. All right. Take one down, pass it around. You know what we're doing. Think of your own email list. How can you get people to pass the word around? How can you get them excited? You know what this is about? Standing out. Come on, stand up. You see how they're standing up? You know what they're doing? They're noticing your message. They are seeing your message. Feel it flowing through this room. That works online. I have done 1 million emails in 3 months twice at zero cost doing just this. It's so easy. You know what it is? It's caring and waking up and saying, I'm going to give them a message because you think these people would pass it around if it was not worthwhile? No way. Poor guy at the end here is going to have to run it all over, but come on, come on. Run, run, run. Give him a cheer, come on. All right. Watch how this stuff goes around. This is called viral marketing, only invented in the US. Whoops, looks we skipped this referral. Okay. Viral marketing invented in the US. When two guys were in an elevator, one guy sneezed and he goes, that's what marketing should be like, a virus. Avon. The reason we're doing this to have fun is I want you to go through. Come on, pass it on. Encourage referrals. Internet business, the purpose of your website is many things, but you always want to get email. If you're selling a product, what do you need to get? Repeat it. Email. Because 2% of people buy on first contact. What happens to the other 98%? Bye-bye. I don't really want to act right now. I don't want to buy your product right now. Look at this, double referral. Avon! Yes. Look at this. Man, this is getting so viral. You know what's really funny? The reason I want you guys to feel this is real. This is not virtual. When you get them to pass it on, this is the most powerful thing you can do. And if you don't have a market, if you're in a women's market, women tend to pass it on a lot. But unfortunately, most of us men like to pitch them, and if a woman passes it on, it's a sign of friendship. And it has to have meaning, at least in the US. I should know I was raised with 6 sisters. I've been tortured with visits to the mall so many times. Are you going to buy anything? No, just hanging out with the girls. Can I go home? That's why men usually can't market well to women. Because shopping is a social experience, guys. It's not about buying stuff. And the internet is a social experience. You finished over there? Let's give you a round of applause. Come on. Reason I wanted to do that, this is about interactivity. That is what happens. And when you get them to pass it on, women in the US, if it's successful, will pass it on. Bring it up here. Will pass it on 5 to 10 times. Thank you very much. They will pass it on 5 to 10 times in the US. Wow, so I sent an email, they filled out a form, and they referred 5 friends. Wow. You want to know how I got 1 million emails? But I earned it, okay? Because my message and my copy was directed to them, to their needs, their benefits. It wasn't about me, it was about them. This is what we're talking about. Women, men, whatever your market is, why would they refer friends? How many guys are in business and you have consultants referral, attorneys refer? Referral is built into our DNA. Would you rather see an ad from a stranger or have a friend say, you know what, need a solution? Go here. How do you think I met Simon? I know Alex. Are you guys seeing something? You heard about 6 degrees? In this planet, we're all 6 degrees from each other. You better bank on it because everybody is. So Alex introduces me to Simon, and you know what? I'm in Australia now. This is awesome. What happens if I don't know Alex? I'm in Chico, which is pretty awesome too. Got to have fun with what you're doing. Email by the numbers. Guys, what I want you to do is please open up to page 4. And I want to sort of prepare you. This is only in front of you. It won't be on the screen. Question number 1. Put a blue link on the top and bottom of your email for maximum effectiveness for you. A blue link, a standard words that are a blue link. We're on page 4. Put a blue link. You know why? They know what a blue link does. You click a link, it takes you somewhere else. Familiar behavior. All we're doing is emulating a familiar behavior more than pictures because they don't know if they'll click on a picture. Everybody knows, and have you ever seen Google AdWords as Perry's going to go into it? Google AdWords is what? Text, even though they're starting to include some pictures. Text rocks, blue links. Number 2, design your email like a postcard. A postcard with limited information. Exactly like a postcard. Okay? Design your email like a postcard. And I'll show you some examples in just a second here. In fact, I've even given you one you can give to your text. Be sure to use bullets to quickly move readers through copy. Not the kind you shoot from a gun, the little round dots, just in case there's a jargon misappropriation from my English. The little round dots that you see called bullets that segment out the letter. They scan email. This is called the short attention span theater. You got about 10 seconds to interest them. Number 4, the most important part of your email is your subject line. Subject line. How many of you know what a subject line is? Don't worry, those of you don't be afraid. It's really easy, and I'll show you in just a second, okay? That's why I wanted to prompt you, so you don't run into these terms. The subject line is actually the headline of an email. What is then, use an excellent headline that gets them to move from email to a web page. Headline, okay? I want to prepare you as we go through this. It is very, very important that you understand these basics, okay? Number 5, be sure your copy is focused on specific benefits for the customer. That's just an old direct marketing rule, but it still applies. What does it do for your customer? The benefits. Benefits. Finally, you should know, number 6, include what at the bottom of your email? Canned Spam Act makes you include opt out. Beautiful. Unsubscribe. Boy, if you could be breaking the law if you don't do that. In addition, put your company name and a physical address. And if you're embarrassed doing that, don't send an email. This is the law, at least in the US, and I can't imagine it's similar here. And it makes sense. If you're scared to send them your physical address, as we would say, young Jedi, what's up with that one? What are you scared of? Fear. You know what's really funny? I joke with that like corny Yoda voice, but fear is the biggest thing blocking all of you from success. Most of us in my age group have seen a generation of kids raised who can do the internet way better than we can. But you know what? They don't know business often, and if they do, wow, watch out. But your business and their ability to market and use these computers, your business savvy, what you're learning here, you give that to a techie, you're going to have the seeds for great success. 100-year tradition of direct marketing and the tools of the internet. Bottom line is, do what you do best. Okay? Let me just breathe in. Just let it out. I know that food's going to go down soon. I'm the caffeine in your afternoon, baby. These little terms here, we'll talk to you later, but basically these email numbers is something, Simon said, give them real content. This is a little bit advanced for those of you. Remember what I said? Don't memorize. CPM is cost per thousand advertising. Yeah, anybody bought a magazine ad? If you bought a magazine ad, you pay how many per impression, per thousand impressions? CTR is your click-through rate. Sorry, Michael, I've had to share some things. And I've actually included this in your documents. You don't have to memorize this. How many people clicked? How many people saw my ad? Your conversion rate. How many people visited your website and took the action you wanted them to do? And finally, remember I told you about the graphics? That's called an open rate. How many people saw your email? So let me show you this. These are the statistics that you'll be starting to get to see, especially if you use tools like One Shopping Cart. Okay? All of this is in the tools, guys. You don't have to sit there and go, well, how do I figure out the open rate and the conversion rate? How do I do this? It's given to you. What you need to understand is what does it mean to you? Okay? Here's how many people delivered email. How many people opened? What happens when they open? They see that little picture, okay? That graphic. And then the click-through is how many people saw my ad and how many people clicked. Okay, I want you to do this. Put out your hand here. Put out your hand in front of you. This way. We're no Hitlers here, okay? Hey, that didn't work in LA. Okay. Yeah, I heard that cynicism. Okay. What we're talking about is impression. Repeat it with me. Impression, click-through, click-through, conversion, conversion. So it's impression, click-through, conversion. That's it. How many people saw the ad? How many clicked? And how many people did what I wanted them to do? Bought my product or maybe filled out a form. I'm going to show you tomorrow how to gather emails at your website and at other websites. This is critical, okay? How do you get those numbers? Remember I told you about the subject line? How many of you were a little afraid when I said subject line? Come on, be honest, raise your hands. One person multiplied by 100. It scared me. This is what happens. You want to get the number in email, it's really, really easy, okay? Number one, in the left-hand side there, you see there, is the from line. What does it say? Who sent this to me? The very first thing somebody thinks about when they get an email from you, remember, you went to use the Ask Database form on an exit, and they sent an email. Or you sent them to a web page. Remember he told you that great example Alex showed you this morning? Iguana books, Japanese garden books. What do? They get an email. Then what do you do next? You send them an email, and the very first thing they do is go to the from line. How many of you look at the from line in your email now with all that spam? It's the most important thing. Who sent it to me? Do I know you? Because if I don't, what happens? Delete. So deleted. This is the holy grail right now, is your from line. In fact, if you send me an email and I don't know you, you get deleted. My spam filters read you, but if I know you, you're in my inbox all the time. And all these people who have newsletters, I allow them to communicate with me. That's where email is still powerful. Okay? Don't take your overwhelmed perception as a reality. This stuff works. So what happens? Who sent it to me? Number one important thing. What does that mean to you? You've really got to build a relationship. What does that mean? When you put up a free report, give them something of value. Don't just say the words, free report, click here. Go on the internet, see how boring people get. You know, it's not like you have to go crazy, but you know, you can think of something besides free report. If you've seen the copy people have showed you, you're starting to see that what we do is really care about your copy. Just like I had you picture in your mind what you'll be doing, talking to everybody tonight in the networking dinner, how can you paint the picture and let them understand how to use your product? Number one. Number two, your subject line. See that thing on that side? That is your headline. If you do anything else in email, guys, everything is focused on your subject line. It's 90% of the reason anyone does anything with your email. Who's it from and what's the subject line? Doesn't matter to me. Who's it from and doesn't matter to me. The most critical part of an email, that gets them to open it. That's why an open rate is very important. It means your headline rocks. Now some of you have offline businesses. Heck, we use email to put 2 different subject lines in, see which one they open the most. That's the one we use offline in our direct mail. The internet is such a, if you don't have a website, and if you're an offline business, say, I forget the internet. Yeah, use it to test. Go buy per-click keywords and test your campaigns. Use email to test subject lines. It's so powerful. When you get results, 48 to 72 hours. Remember Armin showed you all those numbers? What did he say? 48 hours. Have you seen any other medium that moves that quick? The cool thing is, for those of you beginning, that's how quickly you can stumble and not lose all your money in a stumble. Or even worse, lose 6 months because you have a free website you're not paying for, but how much is 6 months worth in terms of money? Ouch. Biggest mistake people make, okay? Third, is your first email link they see. What did I say in the first question? Click on the first blue link. I audited hundreds of millions of emails for a Fortune 500, and I thought I would find some really cool data. You know what I found after 3 months of researching every email these guys sent? They clicked on the first blue link they saw. So what are you going to do? Write a simple email, put a blue link on the top. Okay? And check your numbers. Your numbers are real simple. Okay? How many emails? How many got there? How many people clicked? By the way, these are delivered to you through the services you use. You don't have to figure these out. This is what you rent a service for. We all do. Because, guy, if you try to figure this out on your own, trust me, I've tried to do it. It's murderous. All of these are automatically given to you. So trust the numbers. Okay? Okay, profitable emails unleashed. Oh, the quietness. It's the quietness. I don't have a lot of more impressions coming up. I can do some pretty good ones too, but is this like, you want tap dancing or you want information? What do you want? Tap dancing? Thank you, good night. See this? Not a dancing fool, okay? Don't take me to the disco, you'll run out and the bouncer will get you, okay? And actually, I'll have fun. Profitable emails unleashed. Can I get 2 volunteers? Because I want to get your guys' juices running. We got about 20, 25 minutes. Can I get 2 volunteers? Somebody wants to have some fun? All right, 2 volunteers up front here, okay? Now we're going to have to do this secretly. And hopefully this works. Stay right here. What I want you to do is say, buy my product, buy my product. So I'll tell you to say something. You say, buy my product. He'll say something. You say, buy my product. He'll say it again. Just keep saying that 3 times, okay? You follow me?
I couldn't. What did he say?
I want you to turn around right now, back to her. Okay, can we have the microphones up here? 2 mics. Now, before we begin, here we have the test subjects of our email test. She is the email person. She is going to send a message to Jeremy, who will have, what will you have, Jeremy? A response? Si, jawohl. Okay. Marion, go. This is what you get from an email. Go.
Buy my product.
I don't care. I don't care.
Buy my product.
I don't care.
Buy my product.
I don't care.
Buy my product.
I don't care.
Okay, we've been in the spam box. Now, turn around. I want you to say to him, what did you come to my business for? Say it.
What did you come to my business for?
Because I was interested in what you do.
And they're looking at each other, isn't it? You two go out, get a room. We'll talk to you later. Give him a hand. As blatant as that was, that's what's happening. Buy my product, buy my product. Why? Because I can hit the email button so many times, I don't have to be accountable. And then when you simply say, hey, what are we talking to you about? Relationships. You simply say, what can I do for you? People naturally open up. You're not in the business of selling products and services. You're in the business of helping customers. And the sooner you learn that, the better, because this medium is really about helping customers. In fact, let me show you. I want to show you an inspiring story of one of my Right Now member clients. Autism Today. Tomorrow, remind me, I'm going to show you an example of how they turned their whole business around using email. Okay? You want to unleash it? What do we say? Create emails like postcards. Repeat it with me. Postcards. Come on! Give me a little sugar. All right, postcard. He's like, enough. Rick's like, come on, man. Hey, I'll tap dance again. Okay. Look how simple that is. And it's very personal. This is about autism. It's about, this isn't just about hardcore marketing, selling your product. She's making a great living. And what's on top of that email? Blue link. Are you guys starting to see how simple this is? That's what you do. Great subject line, blue link on the top, postcard. Game over. Thank you for playing. Let's go out and market. How many of you can do this email when you leave here today? Okay. For those of you who don't raise your hands, you're going to be forced to go over to page 9. Go to page 9. Page 9. Got my picture on it? Little template. Remember Alex showed you how to fill in the blanks? All right, here's your postcard email. What does it say? Top headline goes here. Second question here. Your question, your picture. Now let me show a raise of hands. How many of you can go home and do an email tonight? Everybody, come on. Get your hands up. This is about thinking positively. I know at this point some of you are going to get overwhelmed. Don't. Let it go. We're not here to memorize. Remember what I told you? We're here to take action. What I give you this is not to be funny, is to show you how simple it is. The real key is start writing a headline. That's where you start having fun. So write it like a postcard, okay? Second, remember we told you test text versus HTML. On the left-hand side you have text. That's just a standard little message you type in. On the right-hand side you might put pictures in it, okay? That's not in your workbook. It's up on the screen. Okay? Test it. What happens if you don't know an answer on the internet? Test it. You know what, everyone here, you think, you look at this lineup of great marketers, every single one of them will tell you, that's what we do. And we stumble, and we fall, and we get up and smile and do it again. And you know what happens? If you do it 1 out of 3, you're going to be really successful. But even if you do it 1 out of 5, you're going to be able to make a living. This is statistical. This is not made up. Learn these systems and basically let them tell you and test. This is the real power of the internet. Your subject line is critical. Check this out. This is my email box, and I wanted to show you the different headlines that we have. And look at this. This is the experience of the customer. How many of you use an email box like Outlook or something like that? Okay? Is this sort of what you see in the morning? Do you go to a website or do you check your email? You check your, can you see why it's so powerful? Why everyone's talking about it? It's like the best kept secret. Everyone else thinks it's spam. Everybody making money knows it's not. It's just like these two people talking, Marion and Jeremy. Guys, that's really what it is, because you know what? That's what's happening. Real people. But a lot of us can't see it, so we figure it's this mystery meat. It's not spam. It's real people. So look at this. There's this character in the Who line. How many of you have heard of Alex Mandosian? Right? He always gets the top of my inbox. This is actually my file that I keep of great marketers who wrote great headlines. And look at that. Since Alex knows me, look at how personal that headline is. Psst, Declan, a quick question. Boy, if that was from a stranger, what would I do? Delete. But since it's from Alex, what do? Open. Trust. Jay Abraham. Any of you heard of Jay Abraham? Yes. Great. Last chance for your free videos with strategy setting soup. How many of you want strategy setting soup? Keep your subject line short. See what happens? Get a camera phone and make $100. I love this one. Cool bargains. Stop Hillary Clinton's book. Next one. Can somebody please turn the cell phone off? Please, no cell phones. Let's keep this on focus. Second one, Hillary's book must be stopped. You want anybody, the expert, want to know why the second headline would work better? Using the word stop stops them from reading it. Now, if you use the word don't, they would open it like crazy. Don't read Hillary's book. You know what people would do? They'd open it. Stop is a command that stops you from opening, okay? And urgent encouragement, J. Abraham. Mark Victor Hansen and Bob Allen, why settle for the crumbs that fall from the table? Bottom line is, this is the headline. This is what your customer's looking at. This is why your subject line is so important. Look at in all those emails, which ones will you guys open? Which one? Oh, come on. I knew that's what you'd answer. And actually, you probably would, because a lot of them are just direct mail marketing messages. But this is the competition we have to face, okay? Your first sentence. This is a true story when Alex told you that I use the same email. This is from my Right Now marketing system. This is what I train my members on. And I looked at him, and I looked over his shoulder. He showed me his PowerPoint, and he's got this Les Brown thing. I'm like, well, you know, I use this. I really like that email. And it's true. We didn't stage this at all. That's what I love about it. Now, think about this. I'm sharing this with the business people in my circle, showing them Alex's stuff. Does Alex get a good recognition for that? And it's one of the best resources. This is true, guys. There's no staging here. This happens because when you're good, people share your information because they want to share it with people who will be even better, okay? The reason I said this is his first sentence, John Caples. Anybody heard of John Caples? John Caples, if you haven't tested advertising methods, it's one of the Bibles of direct marketing. It was written in 1940-something, I believe. Middle of the 20th century. He would say your headline, your first sentence is everything. Think about it. In journalism, it's the headline in the first sentence. In direct marketing, it's the headline in the first sentence. On the internet, it's the headline in the first sentence. That's what you work on, not the whole big war and peace. You design a postcard and write the headline in the first sentence, okay? My good friend Les Brown charges $20,000 for each public speaking presentation he delivers. $42K outside the U.S. That's brilliant, because he knows they're not all U.S. people, unlike most of us who thinks the world ends with the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. He's the author of many best-selling books and audio cassettes featured at Nightingale Conant. Nightingale Conant is a brand name. So if you don't know him, you know who he's associated with, okay? Finally, tomorrow night you have an opportunity to listen to him for 1/1000th of his normal speaking fee. Does that make you want to, is that a value? Do you see how he's talking with me, not at me? When he works on ad copy, remember this, because it's one of the most important things that we have to take forward. Okay. Now here's that. How many remember at the beginning I told you I was going to show you the secret that's going to like unlock, multiply by 10 your profits? How much time do I have? 15? Oh, great. Longer than I thought. You guys doing okay? Good information? Good. This is really important to me. I'm not like the wacky world of women. Though they do call it Declan speak sometimes. But part of what we're trying to do here is make sure that when you're in business, sometimes it feels like now when your blood sugar is getting a little bit low and you're not feeling that motivated, this is not the time to write a sales letter, okay? Be creative. Be creative. It's wrong. You know, there's people actually in the United States that have really inspired me. Doug Hall, Jumpstart Your Brain, plays games before he goes to work. This is sometimes with Procter & Gamble. And my friend Marlon Sanders, a brilliant marketer, probably one of my biggest mentors. He used to get a room together here, and he'd put bubbles around, and he'd have all of you stand up, and as he said, I want you all to blow simultaneous, synchronous bubbles at each other. Start right now. Creativity comes from your child ego state. These guys all know him. I love Marlon. Marlon changed my whole life. When I wrote that pathetic headline, he looked at that. Remember I told you the promise lies not in our technology, but in ourselves? You know, good for you, Declan. You're going to go far. That was the typical marketing. Look how smart I am. I mean, I'm an English major, okay? We like to think that going, well, I think if I throw in a little Shakespeare, the people will be very impressed. No, the people will be very impressed if you stuck in a little bit of yourself. Be real. Be genuine, okay? That's really what we're talking about here. Often in marketing, we think we have to be somebody else. But you know what? If you really want to write a great copy, you want to write a great sales letter, You just got to stop thinking about here. And if you've seen something, I keep talking about the customer. Have you seen us? How do they look at you? If you could write it from their perspective, you will write a terrific sales letter because they don't care about you, your product or service. They care about themselves, their families, their futures, their lives, their time, their money. And they should, and so should you. But if you actually write copy from their perspective, which is a practice to stop thinking about you and blow some bubbles, play some games. I know these people at Disney, they used to sing show tunes for a half hour. Can you imagine going to work? They don't look at me like it's crazy. You know what? You want to know why they made so much money? How couldn't you when you wake up every morning going, tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you. Your neighbors don't like you. But when you go to work, look what happens. Your energy's flowing. You're really there. You're going to write something that matters, not because you're sitting there going, it's time to go to work and impress people. That's a job, okay? This is about life, about being passionate, about stepping in there. You don't got to sing weird show tunes, jump up and down like I do, or blow bubbles. But everybody has something they can play with. Go play with your dog. Go look your child in the eyes for about 5 minutes. Enjoy the pure, brilliant honesty that a child shares. Man, there's so much to appreciate. And if you bring that out, your ad copy is going to go through the roof. You know why? Because you're being you. What you don't know right now is that everyone in this room has come here. You all think that all of us have this like magic fairy dust we can sprinkle sometimes, the beginning. And what you realize over the course of a weekend is everything you need, you have right now. We're just showing you the techniques and the paths to get there, but everything you need. And the only one who doesn't believe that often is you. And if you turn that around and have some fun, guys, what I'm about to show you will go through the roof and will make your life so much easier. And 90% of businesses still don't do this. I've been teaching this since 98. Since 1998. That's 6 years. Repeat with me. 6 years is too long. 6 years is too long. You're going to promise to work on this and think about when somebody fills out that Ask Database form. Why'd you leave the site? When somebody comes for your free report,
Note to self, hopefully a little bit more information.
what are you going to talk to them about? Boom, boom, boom. Because here's what most people do. They send an instant response. That's called online an autoresponder, automated response. We all buy these services. They cost hardly anything, okay? When somebody sends us an email, we send them a series of follow-up emails, okay? So the instant response is what 90% of people have done. All they do is send them one response. You know what they say? I don't want to be a spammer, okay? I don't want to be a spammer, so I'm not going to send them messages until 30 days later. Guys, from Fortune 500s down to people working out of their basements, it happens again and again, and it doesn't need to. Because the most critical thing is they don't know you yet. And if you throw away that opportunity, they're going to forget you. But you need to work it through. So we send them the instant response, but we know that 100 years of tradition of direct marketing teaches that 5 contacts or more get sales. Raise your hand. 5. 5. Not 1, not 2. You can do more, but it's 5. It's been proven. This is not anything. I've seen a coach do this, a life coach who does personal development. He sent 3 emails. On his 4th email, when he finally broke through, he goes, well, I think they'll get bugged, Declan. I said, have you tested it? See what we're saying? Don't believe us, test it. I don't know, Declan. I think. I'm going, not what you think. Test. Test small so you don't bug people. But if it works, wouldn't you like it? His 4th email, his phone was ringing off the hook. He was losing 30% of his income because he didn't want to bug people with another message. Why do you think I was jumping up and down and saying, getting excited? You don't want to bug people. You want to communicate to them. But more importantly, take your product line out. You don't have to get wacky. But talk to people. Talk genuinely. Don't pitch. Hey, my name's Declan. I just got back and I really wanted to share some information with you. Click here to go to the website. Love to hear from you. P.S. Look for another email coming in the next 3 days. It'll say, John, your step 2 of Declan's Right Now marketing system is here. And you know what they get sent? The 2nd email. How many people can cut and paste on a computer? Okay? You talk to the guys with one shopping cart. If you can do that, you can do this. 5 paragraphs, cut and paste in a computer. Sound good? Can we do that? Yes. Right? Don't be afraid. There's nothing to fear but cut and paste and Windows. You can automate this. All you need to do is write 5 emails and cut and paste, okay? So here's the thing, instant response. You see this woman's eyes? She's looking up going, just like you. Think about when you signed up for something. You know, you're like, okay, that sounds interesting. You know what they just did? In this veil of spam, they just trusted you. That's huge. She's looking up going, okay. Got your first response that goes, okay, that's all right. Dogs barking, the significant other saying do something else, stop staring at that computer. They've got messaging going on, they're surfing the web, there's a lot of stuff going on. Step 2, 3 days from first contact. Please write this down. 3 days from first contact. This is my formula. You can adapt it, but I really find that within 3 days I send them a follow-up email. This is the critical one. This is where they forget you. No pitch, no push, information, maybe like a 5-step report about your product or service. Like I was talking with Marion about her life coaching. You could have a 5-step program on how to be a better coach. Step 1, XX. Step 2, XX. We're talking about writing a paragraph and driving them to your website to be able to get sales going, okay? So number 2 is, look at this woman. She's on the phone, and she's really busy, isn't she? And all I'm saying is, hey, did you get that email? Give us a call if we can help you out, okay? Step 3, remember me. I send that 7 days from first contact. Write it down, 7 days. Instant response, did you get it? Remember me. Please remember me. Please. Please. I love what Alex did this morning. Please remember me. Buy my chocolate bar. Remember me. Very powerful. The word remember is so powerful. And what you're really doing is checking in with them. So when somebody sends you an email, I want you to think about your business, okay? What is your business? We talked about mobile phones. I actually had a client who was doing mobile phones, and they would send in a free report, how to use your mobile phones and save the most in the US. Step 1, pick the right provider. Here's 2 choices. Come to our webpage and we'll show you how to choose the best one. Number 2, pick the right phone. Here's 3 phones. What do? Go to the website to figure out. Do you see how we're getting them back? With information. Step 3, get a personal evaluation. They had a webpage which gave them a personal evaluation. Boom. Step 4, why don't you buy the phone, for goodness sakes? Well, now I remember you. Step 4, let's talk. This one I often send about 14 days from first contact. You can play around. Everybody has different numbers here, but the first 3 I do 1, 3, and 7 religiously. This is just like the formula for me. And I'm sure there'll be other viewpoints on that. Your audiences are all different. They're like different cultures, okay? Number 5, time to buy. Repeat emails drive sales. We did this with a telecommunications company. On the second email, we doubled their conversion rate, doubled it. On my own email system, selling my own books, I got 33% of my sales from the follow-up emails. What did it cost me? Put it up. 5 emails. Come on. We're about to take a break. 5 emails. Look at your hand. Is that hard? Is this a big number? So I want you to break through. All of this stuff is this simple. Send them to a landing page tomorrow after lunch when we go through the blood sugar ritual again. Are we having fun, though? I'm trying to keep you sparked. I hope you know that I really want to make sure that every one of you leaves here with tremendous value and understands that what I'm here is an interactive workshop, which is why I've had you stand up, jump up and down, say things, and look inside your brain. But most importantly, what you should do is, where can we have fun? Email is where we really get to know our customer, where we ask them to come back. Heck, I'll tell you, I'll give you a story before I close here. I told you about Sunjun at the beginning, the power of email to inspire. Well, how many of you, if you sold a product or service, I sold one of my first books, I sold about $500,000 in the first year. I was just thrilled. I had no reputation. I just used affiliate programs that Paul Colligan will talk to you about. It was so great. And I sold 1,000 books at $97. I'd never done anything like that in my life. And a buddy of mine, wife, looks at me, she goes, you know what you haven't done? You haven't said thank you. Those people just spent their hard-earned money with you. And I picked up the phone, crazy man that I am, and I made 1,000 phone calls. And you know what I said? This is Declan Dunn, author of The Insider's Guide to Affiliate Programs, and I wanted to thank you for buying my book. And if there's anything we can do to help you, give me a call. One guy even returned my book. He didn't get my phone call, so I picked up the phone and called him. And I said, you know, this is Declan Dunn, author of The Insider's Guide. I saw you return my book, and no problem with that. We're going to process it right away, but I'd like to ask you a favor. can you tell me why my book didn't do well for you? What I could have done better? He gave me some great information. We parted friends. He was blown away. Next book that came out, he said it was too simple for him. The next book that came out was like 100 times simpler, and guess who bought it? So I called him up. I said, oh, come on, man. If you want the book, let me just send it to you. I don't want the charge back. If you're just going to buy a book and return it, come on. What are you doing? He goes, you know what, Deck? You called me, and I was so impressed by the way you did business. And that little thing, being a human being, applying these same sort of principles really works, because online, it's very personal, okay? They really know you. And you know what's really great? You don't have to sit there. We're not talking about therapy. We're talking about treating them with respect, using email as a tool that you should honor, and most importantly, making sure that you get started right now. Because what I've shown you in email is very, very simple, but what you learn about internet marketing, the last lesson I'll leave you with, is very, very easy. Those who learn by doing. That's what you're here for, to do. Tomorrow I'm going to share with you how to get emails at your website and other websites. And for now, it looks like folks could use a little food and a little coffee, so I'll leave you and just remind you that my name's Declan, and I'm done.